Well, hello and welcome back to this series of videos where we're focused on the VWAP Pro indicator from Quantum, and in particular, the 5 variants that constitute the single indicator. And in this video, we're focused on the anchored VWAP, which gives you complete flexibility over where you start the algorithm from, where you place that initial calculation, the start point, the 0 point for for everything else that follows. Because in all the other versions of the indicator, that is dictated by the indicator itself. So the anchored VWAP gives you complete control over where you wish to place the indicator on the chart, whatever the time frame. Works in all time frames. I've got the 15-minute, the 30-minute, and the hourly across the top. And I've also got those set to extended trading hours, which is why you see the post and pre. We're just coming into the new session. The physical exchange opened about 20 minutes ago. So we're in live markets at the moment. And the bottom row is the much slower time frames of the daily, the weekly, and the monthly. And I've just put those on regular trading hours for simplicity. Let's just click open the first one, and we'll run through them very quickly, but they all work in exactly the same way. This is the 15-minute. And to access the indicator, we just go up to the settings here, click on that, and here we are, we're on the AVWAP, and here are our others, the VWAP. Hope you've watched those videos. We've got the MVWAP, which is the moving volume weighted average price. We've got the time weighted average price, which is the TWAP. And then we have the intraday VWAP, which works across the much slower time frames of daily, weekly, monthly only. Now, the other thing to note on this window while I have it open is down at the bottom here, you have the AVWAP start date and time. You have a little calendar here, and you've got a little clock. So you can set the starting point for your anchor using that facility, and you can move it accordingly. And down here, you will actually get the dates accordingly. Also, when you move your cursor across here, this actually tells you what the date is, the date and time of that particular candle. So you can pick and choose them that way. But if I just click back on it, that is one way to access it. But the other way is, if you notice on the right-hand side here, there's a little vertical line come up where our VWAP is at the moment with a little handle on it. And when you hover over it, the cursor goes to a horizontal bar with an arrow left and right. So if we just click that off, and I'll show you how this works because it's so easy. We literally hover over that, we left-click, drag, wherever we want to go to. So we want to go to this point here where we had very high volume coming in, and we just release, and that's it, job done. And we've now got our VWAP has been anchored to this particular spot, and then we just use it in exactly the same way as we have done on all the other occasions. It's just so simple. If we wanted to move it somewhere else, all we do is we just click on that, click it off. There we are, there's our little handle, and we just perhaps want to go up to this high over here and have a look at that. There we are. And as I say, we've got the VWAP in the center. We have our outer envelopes, the upper and lower envelopes, which act as either support or resistance and give us an indication of where the price is in relation to the VWAP in terms of whether it's overbought or oversold, or overweight or underweight, if you like to use that sort of terminology, or overpriced or underpriced even, because the VWAP is very much our fair value market price, if you like. It sits in the center there, and it just gives us an indication of what is considered to be, given the amount of contracts that are traded based on the VWAP itself, it just gives us a very strong perspective on whether the price is well above the VWAP and therefore likely to reverse, or is it well below the VWAP and therefore likely to reverse higher. Lower above the VWAP and higher below the VWAP, obviously. And all of our decisions, irrespective, are then based, our trigger decisions to get in are then based on our volume price analysis methodology at the bottom of the chart. So that's on the 15-minute. If we just click on the 30-minute, and they all work in precisely the same way. Just pull that down and make it look a bit more elegant. There we are. And all we need to do if we want to move it around is simply click on that. Our little handle comes up and we can then pick where we'd like to be. And this would be an obvious place down here. Very big hammer candle, ton of volume coming in under that one. And no surprise therefore to see a really strong rally and beautiful move off the with the envelope below, giving excellent support in that rally. And as always, what we're looking at in any of these any of these charts is we're looking at the positioning and the trend of the VWAP itself. Is it rising steadily across our time horizon? Is it flat? Is it falling? What is it doing? Up onto the hourly. Let's take a quick look at the hourly. And where will we go here? Let's take a quick, just click on that. We've got our handle, which is over here. Perhaps we want to pull it back over here, move it close to home. Maybe this one was coming in. We thought that might be weak with the long, followed by the long-legged doji, and indeed it was. Down we go, and our analysis is as before. That's on the hourly. Then we go down onto our much slower time frames of the daily, the weekly, and the monthly. This is the daily. Disappeared off the bottom of the chart there. Pull that up, and again we just click on the settings. And up comes our handle, and we can start to pick and choose where we might like to look at other opportunities. Maybe pop one down there. There we go. And it's just a terrific way to plant the indicator precisely where you want to put it. You're not dictated by anything else. It's entirely up to you where you place it. We've got lots of nice examples here. If we just click on the settings to get our handle back, there it is. Any of these would have been this one classical. We've got the volume is falling away, and we've got lots of volume going in here, and we've got lots of volume going in here, which really isn't going too far. This looks weak. I mean, we've had weakness here as well. This looks particularly weak. We drag it over there, maybe leave it there, and of course you wouldn't see any of this at that point. All you're doing is you're trying to pick those areas. Now, sometimes you might be looking at it from a very predictive perspective. In other words, none of this exists and you're just placing it there to see where we're going thereafter. But generally speaking, what you'd be looking for is looking for those low spots and high spots, and then really attaching it and finding out where we're going thereafter. So it's just two different ways of using the same thing, or arriving at the same result, if you like. Just click on that again, so we've got our handle back again. For example, where we are at the moment, we had our last low was in here, so that might be the point at which we're going to place that for looking forward. Appreciate this is the weekly, so we are looking a long, long way ahead, but it just gives us perspective on where the SPY is heading certainly in the medium term at any rate. And you might even move it closer up. You might want to move it over here, for example, a little bit closer to the price action. Click it on again, and we'll just slide it across maybe into the last, that one there. So it's still looking very positive. It's still, tracking on the upper envelope. We haven't seen any reversals. We're looking at our volume profiles. What is that doing? What is our price action doing? Maybe a little bit weak on the last one, perhaps, and so on and so forth. And that is how we do our analysis. So finally, right way down onto the slowest of all, which is the monthly. Come a long way up here. Clearly, this was a significant area here. This was all to do with COVID, as you would expect. So very significant. But if you wanted to move it a little bit closer to the current price action, maybe you'd look at this region here. So we just click on that and we pull it further over to bring it into a closer proximity to where we are right now. And of course, when you get a relatively limited amount of price action like that, then obviously you would be referencing back to the weekly as well, and maybe even down to the daily also. So there we go. That's the SPY, an ETF, hugely liquid, hugely popular, but it'll work on all ETFs in exactly the same way. So that's the ETF done, and I'm going to do one on index on a future. I'll stay away from an index because it will reference pretty much the same as you've seen on the SPY. So I'll find another future to put on the chart, but it works as we have already seen in precisely the same way. It's just a very, very nice way of you having control of where you want to place, where you want to start your analysis, because it's not always the point at which the indicator starts. So you may have particular points that you want to have precise control over, and that's what the anchored VWAP gives you. It gives you that precise control that you have control of the indicator and not the indicator itself. So I hope you've enjoyed this particular video. As I say, one more to come. I'll do one on a future. So thanks for watching. See you soon, and bye for now.